In this video, we're going to explore the 4 ways to measure exposure. The first 2 are built into pretty much every camera, and every photographer should know how to use them. The other 2, they're usually found on external monitors or in cinema cameras. And honestly, I have no idea why they aren't in every single camera available today. But hey, I don't make the gear. I've used all of these throughout my 14-year career, delivering photos and video to global brands. And once you get them down, you'll just never stress about exposure again. And because no company would ever pay me to say nice things about waveforms and zebras, today's video is proudly sponsored by me, the photographer's video system. No Squarespace, no VPNs, just actual lessons that make your photography business stronger with video. And this one's straight out the course, so roll the tape. Measuring exposure is different in video than in photography. In photography, you can afford to underexpose your image in what we call protecting the highlights, as we can recover the shadow detail easily without any noise, to a certain extent. In video, we have to be very precise with our exposure. When I expose, skin tones are what's most important. You always want your skin tones to be perfect or as close as possible, all while protecting your shadows. So it's an opposite concept. Ideally, you will have a gray card with you, so you can easily expose for that 18% gray, known as middle gray. This takes all the guesswork out of exposure. They are really cheap, and I've put a link in the show notes. Generally speaking, you want to protect the shadows when exposing for video. Rather, slightly overexpose without clipping your highlights, as then when you correct the exposure in post, you have beautiful, clean, noiseless shadows. This is called exposing to the right, and your histogram will look something like this. Last but not least, we want view assist on Canon turned on, or on Sony Gamma Display Assist type, and you will choose S-Log3 to 709 at 800%. This will give you a preview of the log footage with the recommended color profile for Rec 709. You don't want to view gray footage while shooting, because that's when you make mistakes. When exposing for video, we have 4 tools, and this is why I would recommend having an external monitor, as not all cameras have these functions. On all cameras, we have zebras and histograms, so we will use these tools a lot. If you use an external monitor, they will have waveform and false color. These monitoring tools also come in cameras like the Blackmagic Pocket 6K, all Arri Alexas, and Red Cinema cameras. Having an external monitor will give you all of these exposing options and a bigger screen, which is always helpful. Light is light, and every tone or shade has a specific number between 0 and 100 IRE that means it's exposed correctly. Let's go over the Ansel Adams exposure chart to refresh ourselves. Pure black is 0 and clipped white is 100. Every person has their own personal shade or tone to which they are perfectly exposed, but generally speaking, these are the numbers you want to hit. For fair skin or white skin tones that haven't seen the sun all winter, around 70% is where you want to be.
Winter is coming.
The average white person, like me, who's slightly tanned, we are aiming for around 60%. If we are going for a more tanned person, Hispanic or mixed race, then around 50% is our number. For darker skin tones and black people, it's around 40%. But how can we accurately know what each value is while filming? The gray card. And yes, you should buy one. You can expose and light your scene before the talent is even on set. Just place your gray card where they will be and have the card face in the direction that they will be talking. If they are talking straight into camera, then have the card face directly into camera, in the exact position they will be filmed. Another option is when your talent has been placed into position, all they have to do is hold up the gray card and then you can set your exposure. The gray card is constant. No matter what lighting situation or skin tone of talent, it needs to hit a certain value. From my testing, that's around IRE 60 if you want to protect your shadows. If you want to protect your highlights more, then IRE 50 is where you want to be. I'm sure we're all familiar with zebras, but if you haven't used zebras before, what happens is that these zebra lines, named after zebras, show up on your camera monitor, where the exposure of that exact pixel is equal to a certain IRE or exposure value. We use this mainly for skin tones or gray cards, where your subject's face or gray card lights up with these zebras. You know your exposure is good and you are ready to shoot. Generally speaking, your camera will come with some presets built in. They also have some custom options that you can set yourself. On 99% of cameras, we can set custom zebras for any value. Here I'm setting up custom value for 60% with a plus minus of 2, and option 2 is 45% with a plus minus of 5. So I can quickly assess the situation depending on whoever I'm shooting. For a white person, I'm using custom 1 at 60%. For other skin tones, I'm using custom 2. Mixed race and Hispanic people, I balance the exposure to where the zebras just leave my frame, as I know they leave when the brightest part of the person's face is at 50%. When shooting a darker toned person, have the zebras just start to leave the person's face, as then they are in an exposure value between 40 and 45%. So if you can only expose using the skin tone, these are the numbers you should be hitting. Great for run and gun stuff and shooting from the hip. If you use a gray card and always expose to IRE 60, then you can photograph any skin tone in any situation. Bringing this all together, what we have learned is 1. Set your zebras to the right exposure value for the talent's skin tone, to quickly know if you have exposed their skin correctly. 2. Use a gray card with a constant of 60 IRE to set your exposure for any skin tone. Just make sure you're reading the exposure off the gray card. So this is a very simple and easy way to expose. You can always guarantee your subjects will look great. It's super fast. Now on to the histogram. My least favorite way to expose. When we look at the waveform, you'll understand why. Coming from photography, we should all be incredibly familiar with this tool. On this little mountain range, we can see all the exposure values for everything in frame. On the left is 0 IRE, or pure black, and nothing is being clipped. And on the right is 100 IRE, or clipped highlights, pure white. Nothing is touching there either, so we're good to go. When we expose, especially for video, we never want pure black. The camera will try and find little details, resulting in noise. You can always get away with clipped highlights in video, as long as they are not on your subject. In the background, they can be beautiful. But if your window is completely blown out like this, and the white just overpowers the frame, it just looks amateurish and bad. So when we expose, we know balance is key, and getting our skin tones right is where we want to be. But a histogram will never show you where your skin tones are. It will only show you the overall exposure. So if you are overexposed, it will look something like this. The mountain range all the way to the right, off the cliff of death. Details you will never get back. As we bring down the exposure, the mountain range comes to the left. We can see more of it, with the clipped highlights now showing more and more detail until we have a balanced image. Now, if we keep exposing down, we will start to shift the mountain range to the left, and there goes all your shadow detail. If you go too far and try to recover it, this is what happens. Noise, noise, noise. It's always important to test your camera so you know what it's capable of. Go and practice. Real-world experience will ingrain this into your psyche. If there's anything to take from this, is that you should try and keep the mountain range as balanced as possible. I love this tool. almost as much as false color, which is up next. It's like a histogram on steroids. And I don't know why it isn't on every camera available today for photo and video. If we look at the waveform, the x-axis is representative of the camera frame. So the left side of the camera is the left side of the graph, and the right side of the graph is the right side of the camera. Now the y-axis is the IRE value, with the top being 100 IRE pure white, and the bottom being 0 IRE pure black. So this lets us know what the exposure is of anything in frame, and you can reference it. So as I move this gray card around, you can see it move in the waveform. Let's click over to zebras and bang, right on 60. Simple, easy, effective. Now for my favorite, false color. This is the view of false color. What a trip, right? This tool gives us the exact values for any specific area in the frame. So no guesswork is needed. You just need to get used to reading the color and its associated values. Pure red is 100 IRE and over, so your clipped highlights. Purple is IRE 2 and below, in essence, pure black. Now we have two specific colors that we want our skin tones to be around or in. This salmon color and this primary green. Salmon comes up between 54 to 58 IRE, green is 43 to 47 IRE, and then we have three grays around these two colors. And they go from brightest to darkest, which makes identifying them easy. The lightest is 58 to 77 IRE, middle is 47 to 54 IRE, and dark gray is 24 to 43 IRE. So if we are exposing for a white person, like me, then we open up our exposure until the salmon just disappears. Same as the zebras and the gray card. For a tanned, Hispanic, mixed race or colored person, we want their face to just be under the pink tone. For a black or darker skin toned person, we should be aiming for a mark where the green just appears and a dark gray is shown. Thus, IRE around 40 to 43%. If we bring in our constant, the gray card sits at 60%, and thus we stop upping the exposure just as the pink leaves the frame. This makes lighting easy and super precise. You can trust that when you get into the edit booth that it's all going to look great. Using these 4 monitoring tools, nailing exposure should always be easy. Become as familiar as you can with them. They can take some time to become second nature, but once they do, it's plain sailing. How I like to have my camera set up is that I have zebras on the camera monitor, and then on my external monitor, I have false color. This makes me aim for skin tones quickly, and then I can see what I'm working with in the scene. I move over to false color, and then I have the exact readings for the entire frame. Do I need to add light or remove it? And where are my exact problems? The best way to practice this is to take out your camera on a tripod and use yourself as a subject, or get some friends involved. Change exposures for different scenes and skin tones. Shoot at all different exposures and either speak to the camera mic or hold up a sign saying what you're exposing to and what take it is. See what highlights you can recover and what shadows you can recover. This way, when capturing for a client, you personally know what your camera is capable of, and you'll be more familiar with these exposure tools. Remember to take action and practice. If you can do this every day for the rest of the course, even if it's around your house for 10 or 15 minutes, it will become second nature, freeing you up to be creative on set. Now, this is one lesson pulled straight from the photographer's video system, the course that I built to help photographers learn video step by step. If this helped you, imagine what the full system could do for your business. The link is in the description. But there's something even more important than exposure: understanding why clients actually hire you in the first place. Spoiler alert, it's never been about your gear. So click here to watch that video, and I'll break down the real reasons clients say yes to creatives like us. I'll see you there.